Good morning, RVA. It's 58 degrees and today's weather looks wonderful. Expect highs in the 80s, sunshine, and 6 or 7 reasons to knock off of work early to spend some time on the porch. Water cooler. Yesterday evening, President Biden announced a 6-pronged strategy to decrease the spread of the Delta variant and get as many people vaccinated as possible. The headlining prong is probably the Department of Labor requiring all employers with 100 or more employees to institute a vaccination mandate or require employees to, quote, produce a negative test result on at least a weekly basis before coming to work. As you can imagine, this would impact a ton of employees and will most likely lead to a ton of vaccine holdouts getting jabbed up. Vaccine hesitancy becomes a lot less academic and a lot more cold hard reality when you have to find time in your schedule to get tested each and every week. The federal government will also require employers to give paid time off, quote, for the time it takes for workers to get vaccinated or to recover if they are under the weather post-vaccination, which should address another huge reason some folks remain unvaccinated. They just can't afford to skip work for it. Other interesting presidential prongs: requiring healthcare workers at facilities participating in Medicare or Medicaid to get vaccinated. Same for Head Start staff. Asking large entertainment venues to require proof of vaccination. Calling on states to adopt vaccine requirements for all school employees. And turning on the Defense Production Act to help make more at-home tests available and make them more affordable. I love almost all of this stuff and appreciate the clever work that went into developing a plan to move as many people towards vaccination as possible, even in the face of some obstinate anti-science state governments. Eric Kolnick at the Richmond Times-Dispatch has an important monument update and one of the better headlines this week, quote, "It's not the void they hoped it would be. 1890 time capsule under Lee statue could not be found." The chief comms guy for the governor's office, Grant Neely, also has one of the better quotes of the week. "After a long, hard day, it's clear the time capsule won't be found, and Virginia is done with lost causes. The search for this moldy Confederate box is over. We're moving on." Also, a less fun update from this article. Quote, "The state hasn't decided when it will remove the black perimeter fence it installed in January. I'm pretty sure we were all told the fence was going to go up in preparation for the monument's removal. Now that it's removed, it's entirely unacceptable to leave that horrible fence up permanently or even temporarily." Also on the monument tip, WRAC reports that the city, quote, "has reached an agreement with the family of former Confederate General A.P. Hill to relocate the monument and remains of Hill to a cemetery in Culpeper. Sounds like the mayor will introduce an ordinance next week to get the city council's sign-off, and then we can start having conversations about how to make Hermitage and Laburnum Richmond's very first protected intersection." FYI, GRTC will implement their fall service updates on Sunday, so make sure you give it a look if you plan on taking the bus next week. Cool/interesting changes. The number 3 has been renamed from Jefferson Davis to Route 1. The 3B and 111 have merged, so now you can take a single bus from Highland Park on the north side all the way to Bright Point Community College, previously John Tyler, in Chesterfield County. And the number 20 no longer jogs over into Scott's Addition and instead stays on Arthur Ashe Boulevard. I like that this bus update included 2 references to renaming things previously named for racists. The 2021 James River Week kicks off tomorrow. Tap through the previous link for an enormous list of things to do, see, learn, and generally celebrate our wonderful wet Central Park, to borrow a 10-year-old phrase. If I could point to just one event, I think I'd pick the James River Park System Task Force monthly habitat restoration project at Chapel Island, helping to remove invasive species on September 13th. Less fun than paddling around the river, gawking at eagles, I guess, but still important so we have other beautiful things to gawk at and not just gross piles of kudzu or whatever. Local musician Matthew E. White's newest album, K-Bay, dropped today, and you should check it out. Due to the way album releases work now, I've had the singles on repeat for the last couple of months and can fully attest to their grooviness. Make it your Friday jams. This morning's long read is titled Inside the Tombs of Saqqara. No burnout, no COVID, no social media. Today's long read is strictly about mummies. Here's an excerpt. His approach paid off. In December 2018, Waziri announced the discovery of a 4,400-year-old tomb intact and ornately carved that belonged to a high-ranking priest named Wahati. The next season yielded intriguing caches of animal mummies, not just cats, but a cobra, a lion cub, a mongoose, and even a scarab beetle. Then, in September 2020, the team unearthed a vertical shaft dug 30 feet down into the bedrock, the first of 2 megatombs. In separate niches at the bottom were 2 giant coffins, and when the archaeologists cleared the surrounding debris, they found dozens more. I had to call the antiquities minister, said Waziri. He asked me, how many? 18 months later, Waziri is still counting. If you'd like your long read to show up here, go chip in a couple of bucks on the old Patreon. That's patreon.com/GMRVA. This morning's picture of the day is a picture of the parking lot in between Henderson Middle School and John Marshall High School. Intro and outro music by Matt Fisher, and you can find links to all these stories and more in the show notes or on gmrva.com.
Waking up early to give you the scoop. Ross will make sure that